At the fourth Annual Terwilliger Center Summit in Washington, D.C., leaders from politics and the housing industry came together to address the U.S. housing shortage. The event, hosted by the Bipartisan Policy Center and the Ronald Terwilliger Center for Housing Policy, emphasized practical bipartisan strategies. The focus was on narrowing the housing supply gap and improving access to affordable homes nationwide. U.S. Housing Secretary Scott Turner urged immediate action to revive the dream of homeownership. He highlighted that over 80% of Americans still see homeownership as essential, but skyrocketing prices and limited inventory are making it unattainable. Turner emphasized the real-life impact of the housing shortage, citing a 7 million home deficit and a 21% price increase in just 3 years. Senators Mike Rounds and Mark Warner joined a panel to share how bipartisan cooperation can advance housing legislation. Former HUD Deputy Secretary Pamela Patternod moderated the talk, focusing on consistent communication and practical policies. Ron Terwilliger stressed that housing is a universal issue, not tied to political affiliation. Mayors Danny Avula and Jim Ross shared how their cities are revising zoning laws and partnering with nonprofits to tackle housing affordability. They detailed efforts to center policies around renters and working families. Shana Ashley from Capital One noted that local governments are key to developing scalable, innovative housing solutions. A separate panel examined the Housing Choice Voucher Program, which faces hurdles like inspection delays and administrative burdens that deter landlords. Experts such as Bob Pinagar and Alan Ferguson advocated for modernizing the program. Research-based policy fixes were also suggested to make the program more effective and efficient. Leaders from Maryland, New York, Rhode Island, and Utah shared how states are accelerating affordable housing development. Tools such as tax credits and land use reforms are being deployed through public-private partnerships. Utah's Steve Waldrop emphasized that the time for studying the problem is over. Action is needed now. As climate events displace more Americans, a panel discussed the importance of innovative post-disaster housing responses. Airbnb's Taylor Marr highlighted how their platform is used to house people more quickly than FEMA. Experts called for improved coordination, data use, and cross-sector partnerships to better prepare for future disasters. Politico's Katie O'Donnell led a session with Reps. Lisa Blunt Rochester and Senator Todd Young, who received the 2025 Terwilliger Bipartisanship in Housing Award. They shared how they are pushing through partisan divides to pass affordable housing legislation. Both emphasized that housing remains a rare area of bipartisan agreement in Congress. The final panel, led by Abha Bhattarai, addressed financial challenges in affordable housing development. Leaders from City and Mercy Housing spoke about the need for federal credit, tax incentives, and community investment. They stressed that creative financial models are critical to solving the supply issue. The summit concluded with a strong message. There's no single solution to the housing crisis, but coordinated efforts across all levels of government and the private sector can drive progress. Innovation, political will, and teamwork were highlighted as essential to making housing more accessible and equitable for all Americans. For direct financing consultations or mortgage options, visit Nadlan Capital Group.